Asalamu'alaikum guys, welcome back to my channel. I pray that you are all in the best of health and iman. So this is my Ramadan clean with me video. This is for inspiration for anyone who wants to get their house all the way together. Do your deep cleaning before Ramadan comes in, because as we all know, ain't nobody got energy in the month of Ramadan to be doing no deep cleaning, okay? So this is one of the ways that I like to prepare for Ramadan. So if you haven't already, I highly recommend you write down a list of things that you would like to deep clean around your home, or just organize, or just general cleaning stuff you want to get done before the month of Ramadan enters, okay? So this is my list of things to do, and without further ado, we're going to jump straight into it. As you guys know, I always try to get my prayer mats washed. It's the first thing I do. Throw the mats inside the wash, put it under the delicate wash, use a non-bio or just something gentle to get it nice and clean, ready for the month of Ramadan, so we can be praying on clean prayer mats. And if we have any guests, then we are not ashamed of how dirty our prayer mat is, because we have it cleaned already. Okay, so the living room area was looking quite messy, so I'm going to try to get it together before we get into like the proper deep cleaning stuff. So one of the things I wanted to do was to dust this mini baby cot that I got for the living room area, because I did not want a Moses basket, because you know aesthetics is important to me, right? So yeah.
They call me Ramzan. My Lord, I wanna be a better man. Show me the way, I don't wanna settle for less. But my flesh pulling me backwards every time I make some effort to sneak ya. Yeah, Robbie, I know. When I'm going far from you, I feel it, I know. And I don't wanna get lost in dunya, though. I'm calling cause I believe you love me. Yeah, getting better. I'm not doing this cause I want a medal. I'm aiming for the top, now I'm in the middle. Saying thanks to you, Allah, alhamdulillah. With you by my side, I'll never give up the fight, you are my lighter. When it's so dark in this path, I'm catching my breath now. I'm taking the break now.
One of the things I wanted to make sure that I did was to disinfect the changing mat. This is the changing mat that I use for my baby. I just throw it on the floor, we put her on top of this, and we clean her. It's just easy and convenient. You can take it everywhere and anywhere you want. It's very light. It's got cushions inside of it, so it's soft as well, but it's also easy to clean. It's from Amazon, so I'll link it down below for anyone who is interested.
I'm not doing this cause I want a medal. I'm aiming for the top, now I'm in the middle. Saying thanks to you, Allah, alhamdulillah. With you by my side, I'll never give up the fight,
Okay, so just to make sure the living room was okay for use and my husband and baby can come sit here whilst I do everything else, I'm just straightening up the sofa and just, you know, giving it a quick dust over and just making sure everywhere is ready for me to then have the space to do everything I wanted to do. Another thing I wanted to remember to do was to remove this extension lead that I got and took with me to the hospital. I highly recommend you to do this if you're in the UK and going to have a baby. Just take a lead with you so you can charge your bits and pieces. But yeah, ever since we brought it home from the hospital, my husband's been using it for his bits and pieces, and he loves bringing it into that corner of the living room, so I had to remove it and remove all the like headphones and little bits and pieces of things that was just laying around. So yeah, now that the living room is somewhat looking put together, alhamdulillah, for now, I can get to just focusing on the things that I really want to do. So one of the things that I really want to focus on is getting my pantry all the way together. But before I do that, we just had lunch on this day, so I wanted to wipe over the dining table. If you see anything around my home that you're interested in, or you want to know where I got it from, just leave me a comment down below, inshallah, and I will let you guys know where I got the pieces from. But the placemats are from H&M, and I usually forget to remove the label. The labels on these placemats are so annoying, and I always forget to remove them. So today I was like, today is the day. I went into the kitchen, picked up my scissors, and I was like, we are taking these labels off. I mean, look how massive they are. Like, for goodness sake, who needs that on their table? So yeah, I removed that and cleaned up the rest of the table. What you see inside my cake stand is actually some puff puff that my uncle's wife brought for me when they came to visit. Yeah, so I've been devouring those. They were so delicious. She's so good at baking and making things like this. I wish I could be that good, but baking it's a science, so I'm working on it. Usually if I get the combination wrong, then it doesn't turn out right, but I've been practicing, so inshallah it'll get better. But I love those puff puffs. They tasted really good.
So dark in this path, I'm catching my breath now. I'm taking a break now. There's something that I gotta let you know. It's been on my mind, I wanna let it go. It doesn't matter what kind of success I got, is it now or the future? It doesn't matter, you and I are the same, maybe better, it's okay. Look at me now, I'm your brother, so never put me on a pedestal. I don't want more when I respect you, respect me back. Getting better, I'm not doing this cause I want a medal. I'm aiming for the top, now I'm in the middle. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, with you by my side, never give up the fight. You are my Lord and you are my light. You are my light. I'm catching my breath now.
So because this furniture is mirrored, I do have to make sure that it is dust free. So I'm just dusting around it, and then I have some paperwork stuck behind it, so I was waiting for my husband to come and remove it. So that's why it can't close right now. So we did manage to get whatever was underneath it out, and it did shut at the end of the day. And then after that, I just had to do a quick run over with the vacuum cleaner, just make sure the floor was nice and clean.
Now I'm taking a break now.
If you don't have a rug cleaner and you have rugs around your home, I highly recommend you invest in one. It will help you to ensure that your rugs last a very long time. So as you can see, there's a very tiny stain down there, and a little bit of washing up liquid and a damp cloth removes everything off of this rug. I'm just so happy with it. That is how I managed to keep a white rug in the house. I just stay on top of cleaning it. So as you guys can see, once again, just put a little bit of washing up liquid, a damp microfiber cloth, a little bit of elbow grease, and then you just scrub away and you're done. Guys, let me tell you a funny thing. So when I was younger and people used to say, use a little bit of elbow grease, I actually thought elbow grease was a product that you use to clean, and I'm like, what is this elbow grease thing? And I would Google elbow grease until one day someone was like, it just means manpower. And I was like, wow. So anyways, on top of that, guys, make sure you dust and clean off your Qur'ans, okay? It is very important. If we don't read these Qur'ans on a regular basis and we put them off for display, what is the point? They're there to be read, so make sure you do that. After that, I had to quickly stop over to pray because baby was having a nap, and then I moved on to tidying up and clearing up the kitchen. So some of the things in the living room ended up on the kitchen countertop, so I had to remove everything and wash up all of the dishes that were in the sink. After that, it was already evening time, guys. That is why the lighting is different here, but I was determined to get this home cleaned. So one of the spaces that were really, really important to me that I deep clean is my freezer. This is a place I haven't cleaned in the last 11 months, basically since I've been pregnant, I have not even bothered to touch the deep freezer. So it was very important for me to clean it. So I removed everything out of it. So I didn't deal with the top drawer in the freezer because most of the time I keep my fruits, frozen fruits in there. So that was already clean. So it was just for me to deal with the middle shelf and the bottom shelf, which were absolutely dirty. Like, I was like, wait, what? How did all these bits and pieces get in here? So as you guys can see, it just starts with removing everything, and there were things in there that had expired. I don't even know how this, like, it was a mess, an absolute mess. So I had to remove all of it. I had to give it a good wash all the containers with lukewarm water, dry it all off, and then go inside of the freezer, disinfect that area, clean that area as well very, very well, and put everything away. And guys, it was so nice, and just satisfying to see how clean my deep freezer was after this. I was just super happy with it. So yeah, it was just me doing my thing and getting my home all the way together. Imagine it being Ramadan and you being like, oh yeah, and by the way, I need to deep clean my freezer. Like, who's gonna do that? Nobody. Okay. And deep cleaning the fridge and the freezer is actually a really good idea, because if you're going to meal prep and things like that, or you're going to buy food items in advance, then at least you know how much space you have in your fridge and freezer. So I highly recommend you clean your fridge and your freezer if that is something that you think would help you to prepare for the month of Ramadan.
I will never give up the fight. I'm a lighter. When it's so dark in this path, I'm catching my breath now. I'm taking a break now. There's something that I gotta let you know. It's been on my mind, I wanna let it go. It doesn't matter what kind of success I got, is it now or the future? It doesn't matter.
Next, we are dealing with an area of the home, once again, that hasn't had much love in the last couple of months, and that is my bathroom. I really wanted to sort out all the molding that was happening in here. So I start off with the mold killing spray, as you guys saw. And the trick with this is give it some time, okay? Spray the mold killing spray, leave it for some time, a couple of hours if you like, so it can actually kill the mold. And then I go in with some tissue and bleach, and I soak up the tissue with the bleach on it, as you guys can see, and I just place it in the crevices and corners where the mold is. Overnight is usually enough time for this to actually work, and I highly recommend you open your windows whilst you're doing this, or you turn on your ventilating fan in the bathroom so that, you know, air can circulate, because otherwise, you know, the smell of bleach is not very healthy. This is not something that I do every month or anything like that. It's just once every maybe 6 months, or once every 4 to 6 months I try to keep up with this. So yeah, this is what I do, and I leave it for some time, and then the next day I wash it, rinse it all out, and this is what my bathroom looks like afterwards. So good, guys. If you're not doing this in your home, I highly recommend you do it, because, you know, we live in our homes, and what can we do? Mold can grow in damp areas. So this is what I do to keep up with that.
I'm catching my breath now. I'm taking a break now.
And now we are going to work on my pantry. This pantry is a never-ending story. You remember that film? Like, I used to watch this film as a kid. It's called The Never-Ending Story. This is what this is. I fix it, and then it gets messy, and then I fix it, and it gets messy, and it just keeps going. But I like how it looks when everything is neat and tidy. So that's what I'm going to do. And this is another space I haven't cleaned in months. So we're going to get to it, and I'm going to organize everything. I normally put things back where they should be, but again, after being pregnant, guys, ain't nobody asking me to do any deep cleaning because I wasn't having it. So I just shove things wherever, and this is the result. So we're going to sort that out. So as per usual, the first thing I do is I remove all the bits and pieces that I want to clear. But as you guys saw, I just cleaned my dining table, so like getting it all messy again was not something I wanted to do. So I just put the placemats out just to kind of cover some areas of the table, and then I got bits and pieces out. I didn't get absolutely everything out, I just got enough to clean the pantry and then to organize whatever areas I wanted to organize, and I did each shelf at a time. So this particular basket has like all of my spices in there, all of my like healthy, you know, dry goods that I drink and put in smoothies and things like that. But for the most part, it has my like spices and things like that. And in the turntable, you have some of my seasonings and things like that, baking soda and apple cider vinegar, just bits and pieces like that. So what I wanted to do was to organize this area. But in order to do that, first and foremost, I would have to look through what I have in the pantry, make sure everything is within date. And then what I want to do is have inside that mesh basket, one area with a particular group of items, the other side with a particular group of items, and then in the turntable have the things, and then in the turntables have the things that are essential for me. So as you guys can see, I'm removing everything, and then I'm going to look through and sort. It turns out I had quite a number of multiple items in there, the same items basically. So I consolidated them, put them all in one place, and then reorganized. I threw away everything that needed to be thrown away. Unfortunately, there were things in there that had expired that I hadn't used. So inside the little basket on the corner there, things like crackers, seasonings, like I had halal gelatin. I had no idea why I even bought halal gelatin to begin with, but anyway, things like that had expired, so I put them all aside. And this is my egusi. So my egusi, I used to make one of my African stews. I consolidated that into one area. If you have these Ziploc bags, I highly recommend them because they are clear and see-through. And this is one of the things that help me to keep things organized, is that I need to be able to see what I have. Like if I can't see that I have stuff, I just forget that I do. Like this is dried okra, and it was sent to me by my mother-in-law, and my husband kept saying to me, I'm sure we still have some dried okra left, like if you could make the soup. And I was like, no, we've run out. I was sure we've run out. Turns out I had loads. So it's very, very important for me to have things in clear bags. That way I can see what's inside, because I don't always have time to go in there, open every single black bag, look through it to find bits and pieces, you know. So yeah, that is just what I am doing, opening up the bags, seeing what I have. And I have more stuff, like I have some like Hausa soups like kuka and like just multiple stuff. I'm just like, some of these spices and things, people gift them to me when they come back from home, from Africa. Like when they go on holiday, they always bring me something. And so I just end up with a whole bunch. So I just started to sort things out and put everything into place. What I figured is that I would put all like that's tea. And that tea, guys, it is so good. It's not actual tea, but you boil it basically and you can drink it. And if you have high blood pressure, I highly recommend you try that. Highly recommend you try it. Anyways, so that flour I used to make some meals during Ramadan, so I wanted to have that somewhere at the front so that I remember that I still have it. I think those were utilise leaves that I use for pepper soup. Just a whole bunch of stuff. The ginger that I had like a couple of when I was pregnant, because I was trying to like get over nausea. I can't believe it. It hasn't expired, so I'm putting it back in my pantry, but I doubt I'm going to eat it again. It's crystallized ginger. It's just full of sugar though. It's too sweet, but I put it back for now. And then I have my other spices like thyme, even more chili powder. My goodness. So I just thought sometimes it's easier. There are certain spices that I have in my spice rack, which is in my kitchen. So if I can put all the extras all in one bag like this, and then I just place it in here, whenever I need to top up the ones in the kitchen, I just pick up that one bag, and then I know the things that I have left. So it's just a case of thinking, what items can I group together? what items are the same so I can put them all in one bag, what items have expired so I can throw them away, and what things do I use very frequently so I keep them at the front, so that I make sure I use them before they expire. So it's just things like that. It's also like, I think that was like bay leaf or something like that. So extra bits of pieces of items, and then I'm just going to take all the rubbish and put that in the bin, and then it'll be easier for me to clear up the table again.
I don't want my when I respect you, respect me back. Getting better. I'm not doing this cause I want a medal. I'm aiming for the top, now I'm in the middle. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, with you by my side, never give up the fight. You are my Lord and you are my light. You are my light. Oh.
Next, I'm moving on to the next shelf, which is where I usually have like my cereals and things like that. And I found more egusi. I was like, this is ridiculous. I had all this stuff in the first place and I didn't even know I had them. And then I'm just gonna fill up that little container that I got from H&M years ago with my toothpicks. Yeah, it's a fancy place to keep the toothpicks, but I'm sure by now you know I like pretty things. Okay, it's very obvious. So anyways, I'm just gonna take the salt and spices and things like that and add them to the turntable that you guys saw in the previous clip, and then I'm going to again check the dates on certain things, remove what doesn't need to be there, throw it out. Like that tuck biscuit absolutely expired like 6 months ago. Yeah, so I had to chuck that out. But what I actually wanted to do in this case was to wash the containers. So I went in, I gave them a good wash, dried them all up, and then returned back to put everything back inside. You know, it's just nice every now and again just to clean these containers. So one of the meals that I love to have for breakfast, so one of the things I love to have for breakfast is oats. So I'm just going to fill up that container with a new pack of oats. We're going to get through so much of this in Ramadan. So I think the pantry is really an area to focus on when you do your deep cleaning in preparation for Ramadan, because you want to make sure it's nice and organized and you have all the food items that you're going to need, just to make the month of Ramadan as smooth and as easy as possible. Okay, that is the goal and should be the goal. It's just, what can I do so that in the month of Ramadan I can save myself energy, things can run smoothly, so I'm not having to waste my energy on like cleaning, deep cleaning and sorting, like doing all of this in the month of Ramadan. Nah, forget it, I'm not doing it. I am not doing it. Okay, this is something that needs to be done before, because the little energy that I would have left, I would rather use it to, you know, do some extra good deeds, you know, extra acts of worship. I could be using this to, you know, pray some extra rakats. I could be using this time to read the Quran. You know, I still also have to take care of the home, obviously, but it won't be to this degree, so I would have more spare time to worship. That is the goal. So I finished with that section, and then I'm dealing with the third area of the pantry, and this is where I usually keep like all the toiletry items and things like that. That baby Johnson's baby product, apparently it has something in it that can cause cancer. My aunt told me, so she was like, don't use that on the baby. So I was contemplating whether I should keep it in the pantry or not, but then I was like, who am I keeping it for if I'm not going to use it on the baby? I mean, yeah, so that was what I was going back and forth for. Inside this container is where I keep things like my iron, my steamer, some extra bag for the trash. I have different bags for the trash because I have the little one in the bathroom, and then I have the main bin in the kitchen. And then just put some extra cleaning stuff. Those are like my mops, disinfectant sprays, just bits and pieces like that. My water bottle, because I don't know where else to put it. So they go in there. And inside here is where all my soap and hand soaps and just other things for cleaning ourselves go into. And then in here I put my extra bits and pieces for my Dyson.
When I respect you, respect me back. Getting better. I'm not doing this cause I want a medal. I'm aiming for the top, now I'm in the middle. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, with you by my side, never give up the fight. You are my Lord and you are my light. You are my light. now.
Speaking of my Dyson, gosh guys, it was so dirty. So much dust in here. I was like, nope, this is something else I must clean and I must do it today. So I don't know how to clean this, so I had to utilize YouTube to help me, and I watched a video and it showed that you're going to need a coin, preferably a 50p coin because it's large enough. You can open the side of it, so you can really get in there and deep clean it. I will leave the video linked down below, the video that I watched that helped me to clean my Dyson. I have the V15 Animal. And although this vacuum cleaner comes with a warranty, you want to be very, very careful when taking it apart and when cleaning this, because you don't want to do something that will not be covered under the warranty if you ruin your Dyson. So particularly a Dyson, if you're going to clean it, just be careful and know that there are loads of videos on YouTube that will help you teach you how to take it apart safely and how to clean it safely. I had to take a break from all the cleaning, literally sit there, watch the entire video so I understand what I'm doing, and then I came back again and just started doing it bit by bit, doing everything bit by bit and getting it clean. Let me tell you, it was so dusty in there. Like, some of the dust was just trapped up in the little corners and crevices, and I tried to use like the edge of like a serving spoon. That didn't work. So I had to go and get myself a knife, and I had to be so careful because, again, I don't want to damage my Dyson. It's less than 2 years old, so I want to be very, very careful. And as you guys know, these are investments, okay? These are not cheap vacuum cleaners, so I can't emphasize enough how careful you need to be when you're cleaning it, but it is necessary that you clean it. Like, it gets too dusty for you to just be like, nah, I'm never going to clean this. You need to clean it. If you're careful enough, you should be fine. So as you guys can see, the dust just settles in the crevices on the corner. So I used the edge of the spoon to try to get it out. Some of it was so sticky, so I took the knife and kind of just helped me to cut through the thick layer of dust. It was very dusty, which was why I put the extra bag, trash bag on the floor, so that later on it will be very easy for me to clean up. Otherwise, you're going to be just cleaning and then cleaning and then cleaning is, again, a never ending story. But using the knife really did help me, but I had to be very, very careful.
When I respect you, respect me back. Getting better. I'm not doing this cause I want a medal. I'm aiming for the top, now I'm in the middle. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. With you by my side, never give up the fight. You are my Lord and you are my light. You are my light. I'm catching my breath now. I'm taking a break now.
Okay guys, so after about half an hour, this is what I managed to do. As you guys can see, the before and after, it is so much more cleaner than what I had it before, and I'm very, very happy with what I've managed to do here. Again, I'll link the video down below that I use as a guide to help me clean mine. It's not perfect, there is still dust in there, but it's a whole lot more better than it was before. So now it's just a case of putting it all back together. I love this vacuum cleaner for the fact that it's just so easy to put together. So I had to turn it on and make sure everything is still working and I haven't damaged anything, but alhamdulillah, everything worked perfectly. In fact, it worked so much more better than before. So now the cleanup is just as easy as taking that bag and throwing it away in the trash, alhamdulillah. So yeah, highly recommend you lay something on the floor before you clean your vacuum cleaner. So yeah, the vacuum cleaner is clean. So we throw that in the trash, and then I just had to take the trash out and then clean the bin itself. So yeah, I guess we're cleaning the items that keep other things clean. So spraying this with a disinfectant and just giving it a nice wipe clean. And then my job for today is done. I hope I have given you guys some inspo to clean your home before Ramadan begins. Whether it's washing your dirty curtains that you haven't washed in the last 2 years, or whether it is deep cleaning your oven, or whether it is sorting out your pantry, getting your prayer mats cleaned, whatever it is you need to do, get it done before the month of Ramadan enters so you can save your energy and use your time to do as many good deeds as possible, because life goes on, we still have to work, but doing all this will make things easy. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, share it with a brother or sister whom you feel will benefit from the content of today's video, and I will see you guys in my next video, which is a Ramadan meal prep. Can't wait for that one. See you then, inshallah. Assalamualaikum.